To call to order this meeting of the House Committee on Elections, and it's going to be a short one because we right now have no conferees. So, our first order of business is to approve the minutes for March 14th. Representative Neighbor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would move that we approve the minutes that were wonderfully done by our secretary for March 14th.
As always, wonderfully done. Do I have a second? Okay, so a wonderful second from Representative Berquist. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Okay, the ayes appear to have it. The minutes are approved. All right, our other order of business today is an informational hearing, because it has not passed out of the Senate yet, on a Senate substitute for Senate Bill 249. I'd ask the reviser to tell us what this thing's all about.
Mike Heim with the Reviser of Statutes Office, and in line with the chairman's request that I take my time, I will do that. This bill deals with the vacancies in the office of State Treasurer, Commissioner of Insurance, and Lieutenant Governor. And right now, in case of a vacancy, the governor appoints, and what this would do is provide that the governor would still appoint, but that they would have to be from the same political party, and that they would be subject to confirmation by the Senate. So what I passed out is a couple of provisions of the Kansas Constitution dealing with executive officers, the governor, lieutenant governor, secretary of state, and attorney general. And in order for there to be it provides for the governor to appoint for vacancy. So there have been proposed constitutional amendments in the past. I think there's been some drafted this year that would change that to either provide for what the bill originally did which was a convention of the party to come up with a selection. But anyway, none of those bills have ever passed, and they've never been voted on to my knowledge. So in line with taking more time, if it's a district office, there is a procedure in the statutes, 253901. The district office would be district judge, district magistrate, county commission, state rep, state senator, and district or county attorney. And in those situations, you have a party convention, basically, and they select who they want to replace the person, and then the governor appoints. So that's all I have, and that's all I can milk out of this.
As far as you can drag it out. Good job. Now, are there any questions for the reviser? So, were you in the Senate hearing?
I was not.
Okay. All right. Then I'll save it for research then. Are there any questions for the reviser? Okay. No? Okay. Thank you. All right. Our researcher, Elena Rudder, is graciously offered to give us a little bit of background on this bill. So.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. Elena Rudder, Legislative Research. When the Senate heard this bill, they had asked about some history and how many times a Commissioner of Insurance or State Treasurer had been appointed. And we were able to find that, I think, there's been 10 appointments for the Office of State Treasurer. Most currently was Lynn Rogers. And then for the Insurance Commissioner, there were also 10 appointments, and I think that was before they started holding elections for the Insurance Commissioner. And since elections, since the commissioner has become an elected official, there has been no instance of that office being appointed.
When did it become an elected office?
The first elected date was in 1900.
Thank you.
And when the Senate committee heard the bill, there was proponent testimony from Senator Tyson, who stated the bill would allow vacancies to follow the same process to replace other elected officials at the state and local level. And that was, her testimony was originally based on the bill as introduced, but the Senate committee amended the bill to keep the gubernatorial appointment, so the governor appointment, and then require Senate confirmation, and further require the appointment to be a person of the same political party as the incumbent at the time of the election. And they also added the lieutenant governor to this bill. It was originally just the insurance commissioner and the state treasurer. And if you have any questions, I might be able to answer them.
Are there any questions for Ms. Rudder? Representative Hoagland.
Thank you. So if the lieutenant governor needs to be replaced, the Senate will need to confirm the governor's decision with the way this is written?
Yes.
Just for giggles, if this were to happen right now, would our Senate confirm someone of the same party as the sitting governor? That's an open question. We don't have enough to talk about, so.
Oh, so you're saying if the lieutenant governor had to be replaced now, yes, they'd have to confirm somebody from, correct me if I'm wrong, but according to this bill, the appointment has to be the same party as the person was when they were elected. So yeah, so the Republican-dominated Senate would have to confirm
And they would have to confirm somebody of the same party.
another Democrat to replace the current lieutenant governor.
Interesting. Thank you.
Yeah. Representative Collins.
Well, I just want to mention that is the case now for when, the Commerce Secretary came up. It was a Democrat that was named by the governor, and that was confirmed by the Senate, who was majority Republican at the time. I mean, there was a lot of contention about it, but it happened.
Mr. Vice Chairman.
So what is the procedure? You also have the elected office of Attorney General and Secretary of State. And so how is that currently filled? Is it?
Revisor Heim is about to.
Fine. If you look at the handout, it should be labeled the Kansas Constitution, which I apologize for not putting the label on it, but it's Article 1, Section 11 of the Kansas Constitution. When the office of governor is vacant, lieutenant governor shall become governor. In the event the disability of the governor, the lieutenant governor shall assume the powers and duties, and so on. The legislature shall provide by law for the succession of the office of governor should the offices of governor and lieutenant governor be vacated, and for the assumption of the powers and duties during the disability of the governor, and so on. So
Says for Secretary of State or Attorney General, the governor shall fill the vacancy by appointment. It doesn't say it has to be the same party, though.
No, and as a matter of fact, I think the example was, I think Governor Sebelius appointed a Republican as lieutenant governor. I don't think he changed his party.
So, Mr. Vice Chairman, you still get the floor.
So was there a reason, I would have thought while we're doing this, or while the Senate was doing this bill, they would have, why not include the Secretary of State and Attorney General? I mean, it seems like an awkward omission.
It's a constitutional office, and I think you need a constitutional amendment.
Okay, so, okay, I take that back, I see it now. Yeah.
So because the method of replacement for insurance commissioner, lieutenant governor, and treasurer are not in the Constitution. So that's why they were able to.
That's correct. The treasurer used to be in the Constitution. The office was taken out back in the early 70s, if I recall.
Any other questions? Okay. Are there any other questions or comments on this? Okay. All right. Well, yes. Representative Berquist.
Clarification for me and maybe for others. So the primary goal of them considering this bill is to consider making it a partisan party to line up for the replacement, and then the Senate would then approve. But that the governor would still nominate from that choice list, and then
That's correct. That's correct.
So it'd have to be a list, or it would have to be just one person.
She nominates one person.
Okay.
Of the same party as the person being replaced, and then it has to be confirmed by the Senate.
So the selection doesn't get chosen by the party, but the party has to be aligned with the choice. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions or comments?
Can I ask any more questions?
Sure, you can.
I just think I haven't thought of any yet.
Oh, okay. Okay, Representative Hoagland.
Wait a minute, I had one. So thank you, Chair. If the governor brings somebody to a vote and the Senate doesn't like them, and then they bring somebody to a vote and the Senate doesn't like them, how long can this seat be vacant?
Revisor Heim. Perpetuity?
Well, that's probably true. I think probably what would happen is there'd be a lawsuit to sue the Senate to require them to exercise their duty. And it would be a mandamus action in the form of a mandamus to require the Senate to do something instead of drag it out, although it may be drug out for a while.
Representative Collins.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And then on the other hand, what if the governor, a vacancy comes up and the governor says, no, I don't want to appoint anybody? Of what would happen then?
Same thing, right? The Senate, somebody could sue her, I don't know. Probably people of Kansas.
Probably the Attorney General would step in, bring a lawsuit, and require something.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Okay, well, I'm going to close this very perfunctory hearing on, informational hearing on Senate substitute for Senate Bill 249. So committee.